bottom line, though, is how much massive energy demands these very large crypto mining server plants require.
Well, this leads into really the focus today, which is the connection between this innovative currency and the planet. And as I mentioned, you wrote an op-ed piece published last summer where you called out what you described as very serious concerns about the environmental impacts of cryptocurrency, writing that, if I can quote, these environmental concerns might well form, quote, the single most important policy factor against the growth of cryptocurrency.
Yes.
So I know you have some slides too. So if you want to share some slides here about the carbon footprint, that would you've already beat me to it. Go ahead.
You can see that, right?
Yes, that looked great.
Well, one should never underestimate the enormity of the energy drainage that cryptocurrency requires. I do put in a caution that there are more efficient ways to develop and mine cryptocurrency, but at this stage, this is a chart from Cambridge, and this is an organization at Cambridge in the Judge School of Business that carefully tracks on a 24-hour basis the usage of, for example, Bitcoin. Notice that this chart only addresses Bitcoin. And if you go to the bottom row, you will see with a single Bitcoin transaction that one Bitcoin transaction uses the equivalent electrical energy of an average US household over 74 days. So we're talking really big demands. In addition, the carbon footprint, and this I would qualify, it depends on how it's produced, the energy is produced, but let's assume it's coal mining. The carbon footprint of one Bitcoin transaction equates to over 2 million Visa transactions. Or in terms that my son can understand, 200,000 hours of watching YouTube, which I think he racks up somehow every week. And then there's the waste element as well. So we can see a similar, first of all, a huge growth, and this is going off a very small base, but the aspirations of cryptocurrency is ultimately to replace the sovereign financial system, but we'll get into that later. Ethereum is not much different. It has a lower volume, but you will see again a single Ethereum transaction footprint, the electrical energy there of an average US household of 8.98 days, and the carbon footprint of 24,000 hours of watching YouTube. You can check using those references every day. It's updated almost in real time. And there are other places as well where one can see this kind of consumption taking place. On a relative basis, the Bitcoin network uses an electricity consumption on an annual basis that's greater than the country of Norway, not that far behind the state of New York. And every now and again, you'll come across articles that talk about it using more energy than the city of London, for example. So on a relatively small basis to date, you are seeing very big energy consumption, almost all of which translates into environmental impact.